Okay, so now we come to the last property that I wanted to talk about so far as the discrete time Fourier transform is concerned. Now, this is a separate video because I think this is also a quick time to recap all the different Fourier transformations that we have studied so far. So, the first of these, remember, was the Fourier series itself, which is the continuous time Fourier series, where the time domain signal under consideration was a periodic continuous time signal, and the Fourier series associated with it, or the Fourier representation associated with this, was basically a sequence of Fourier series coefficients, right? So if you think about this, this is basically like an aperiodic discrete time signal or a sequence, right? So this was the first of the Fourier transformations that we studied. So if I take a continuous time periodic signal, then its Fourier representation was essentially captured by an aperiodic discrete time signal, which is simply the sequence of Fourier series coefficients. Next, we talked about the discrete time Fourier series, okay, where I was worried again about a periodic signal, but now in discrete time. And in this case, the spectrum was essentially also a periodic signal in discrete time. Right. In fact, it had exactly the same period. So your time domain signal was periodic with periodic, let's say with period n. The spectrum was also periodic with period n, right? And so we talked about this before. The time domain representation and the frequency domain representation, in the case of periodic discrete time signals, lies in the same space, namely the space of periodic discrete time signals with period n, right? The same period as the time domain signal. Okay. The next we talked about the Fourier transform, where I am dealing with an aperiodic continuous time signal. And the Fourier transform of this is in fact also an aperiodic continuous time signal. Okay, so this is of course the Fourier transform capital X of omega associated with the time domain signal xt, right? And finally, what we have been just talking about right now is the discrete time Fourier transform, where the time domain representation corresponds to an aperiodic discrete time signal, right? And the DTFT is in fact a spectrum which is quote unquote continuous time in the spectral domain, but it is periodic with period 2 pi. So this is periodic with period 2 pi, and it's continuous time, right? In the sense that its independent variable is continuous, right? It's in fact the independent variable is the entire real line for the DTFT. Okay, so these are the 4 Fourier transformations that we have studied. Now, if you just focus on the time domain part, we have essentially covered, all the signals of interest. We have looked at periodic signals, we looked at aperiodic signals, we have looked at continuous time, and we have looked at discrete time. Okay. Now, what I want you to notice here is the space in which the time domain signal lives and the space in which the corresponding frequency domain signal lives. Okay. In the case of 2 and 3, the discrete time Fourier series and the Fourier transform, note that the signal in time and the corresponding frequency signal basically live in the same space, which is why in both of these cases we have in fact already seen a duality property. right? What is duality? We are asking basically the question, what happens if I study the spectrum of the spectrum? In other words, if I think of the computation of either the Fourier transform or the discrete time Fourier series as a system, it's a black box which, when you give it a signal, it pops out the spectrum of that signal. You can ask what happens if I pass the output of this black box back into the black box, which I can do because the output and the input of this black box lie in the same space, right? And we saw that the signal that you would get, which is the spectrum of the spectrum, is just the original signal with some time reversal involved and with some multiplicative scaling involved, right? So that is what we have studied for the case of the discrete time Fourier series and the Fourier transform already. Now, if you look at the remaining two transformations, which is the Fourier series and the discrete time Fourier transform, they do not have this property that the time domain and the frequency domain representations live in the same space. But interestingly, there is an interchange between the two that you should be able to observe. Namely, that in the case of the Fourier transform, the time domain is periodic continuous time, whereas the frequency domain is aperiodic discrete time. In the DTFT, it's opposite. The time domain is aperiodic discrete time and the frequency domain is periodic continuous time, right? So you should therefore expect that there is also a duality property that connects these two. There is a duality property that connects the Fourier series and the discrete time Fourier transform. Because if I start off with, let's say, an aperiodic discrete time signal, compute its spectrum, okay, that gives me a periodic signal with period 2 pi. That's the spectrum of the signal, right? That's this fellow. Now, because it's periodic with period 2 pi, I can now ask what are in fact the Fourier series coefficients associated with this periodic signal. Right? That takes us to the domain of transformation 1, and I can ask myself what are in fact the Fourier series coefficients corresponding to x of omega. That is going to give you one way of seeing the duality property. Alternatively, I can start here. I can start with the continuous time periodic signal, compute its Fourier series coefficients. Right? The Fourier series coefficients are aperiodic discrete time. And then I can ask, well, what is in fact the DTFT associated with this signal, the sequence of Fourier series coefficients of my original signal, right? And that will in fact give me two parallel duality properties relating the Fourier series and the discrete time Fourier transform. Okay, so now let me move on and tell you formally what these properties are. So the properties, are actually fairly straightforward to see. So I start off with a signal which is aperiodic discrete time. Okay. Now, when you do the DTFT of this signal, you get a certain spectrum, which is of course periodic with period 2 pi and in continuous time. Now I can ask what are the Fourier series coefficients associated with this signal. Okay, and remarkably, the Fourier series coefficients are in fact just time reversed version of the aperiodic discrete time signal that I began with in the first place. Okay, so that's the first duality property. I start off with an aperiodic signal in discrete time, compute the discrete time Fourier transform. I'm intentionally not putting omega or t or n in the index because, for duality, it's best to just think of these as signals, right? Without necessarily giving a label to the independent variable itself. So I start off with an aperiodic signal in discrete time. Its DTFT is a periodic signal in continuous time, specifically with the period 2 pi. And I ask, well, what are the Fourier series coefficients associated with this guy? Well, it turns out that the Fourier series coefficients are simply a time reversed version of the original signal that I began with. Okay, so this is actually not that hard to see if you just write down the the foundational definitions of the DTFT and the Fourier series, just write down those equations. You'll be able to very easily convince yourself that this property is true. Okay, I'm not going to actually write out the justification. The justification is basically going to be like a homework problem for you, but I think highlighting the property is what is even more important. Now you can write another version of this duality property as follows. Okay, what you can do is start off with a periodic signal in continuous time. Let's say with period t. Okay, now I compute the Fourier series coefficients associated with this signal. This is of course given by some sequence of Fourier series coefficients ak. Remember, these actually are an aperiodic discrete time signal. And now I can ask, well, what is the DTFT? Okay, maybe I should use a dot so as to not explicitly identify the index itself. So this a dot is of course the sequence of Fourier series coefficients, which is aperiodic discrete time, and I now ask, what is the DTFT associated with the signal A? Well, it turns out that the DTFT is once again a time reversed version of my original signal, except that remember the DTFT has to be periodic with period 2 pi, right? So it actually ends up being x of minus 2 pi by capital T dot. Okay, so what happens if I start off with an arbitrary periodic signal x? Well, I first compute the Fourier series coefficients, that's the sequence A, and then I ask, well, what's the DTFT associated with the sequence A? That is essentially a time reversed and scaled version of my original signal, the signal I began with, and the scaling is being done to rescale the period of that signal to 2 pi, because after all this has to be a valid spectrum. Okay, so these are two remarkable duality properties that in fact relate the discrete time Fourier transform and the Fourier series. Okay, so I'm going to leave these as exercises to you and actually also mark them in the homework. So at this point what we have done is come to an end of our coverage of the discrete time Fourier transform. What I've tried to do is basically highlight the differences so far as our properties are concerned from the continuous time setting. But to become really comfortable with this material, you would basically have to do a bunch of practice problems, right? So along with these videos, I'm also going to post a homework which basically is a bunch of problems relating to the discrete time Fourier transform, which I would strongly encourage that you all go through. Okay, so once you go through these videos and basically solve all the problems from that homework, then I think you should be quite comfortable with the discrete time Fourier transform. Okay, so at this point we will stop. After this, the next set of videos is basically going to be covering the connection between continuous time and discrete time signal processing. All right, thanks.